Hello everyone, and welcome to Caroline's Craft Tree, and welcome to another episode of Dreaming of Dragons Journal Build. Today we are going to make this envelope flip. It's got a pocket in this bag. It has a pocket in the envelope, and the back has this cool multimedia or mixed media type thing. Now it's going to get glued down to a page, so it's going to go onto a page like that. Then it'll flip open, and my idea is to make this into a bit of a tuck spot. So that's my plan. I did make one just so you could see what we were making, and hopefully you like the project. I did do some stitching around as well. So let's get started on this. I've got a bunch of goodies. I've got a couple cutouts. I didn't ink this, so let's quickly ink that. I thought I had inked everything up, but okay. Piece of a napkin, piece of cheesecloth, my bag, a book page, a piece of one of the digital pages, which I've sprayed with a couple of different kinds of shimmer mist. So I don't know if you can see how much that is shimmering, and then just an envelope. So we are going to cut the envelope. Just going to barely cut the top off of here. Just enough to open it up. There we go. And I have this here. It's Paper Shapers. And I'm just going to barely take some off. I just want it big enough so that you can see that there's something there. So the first thing I'm going to do is do the back here. So let me dig out the stuff and we'll do that. So I've dug out a few things for the flat part of this envelope. So I've got that hunter green that I used for the cover. Just going to put a little bit of that. Won't need too much of it. And I have just a makeup sponge. And I'm going to dab this. I've got a piece of paper underneath the flap because I only want the paint on this flap. So I'm going to dab. I'm kind of hoping that this stencil will look like dragon scales by the time I'm done. I guess we'll find out. I think it'll be close enough. It's kind of more like giraffe spots, but we will get this figured out, and if worse comes to worse, I'll just go grab a couple more envelopes. I'm going to do both the envelopes at one time because of the fact that way I only have to get everything dirty once. Okay, I'm going to add some white to some of this because I want a little bit of shading in there too. Let's see what I got to stir with here. I want to give it a little bit of dimension by adding some extra colors in there. Okay. Don't want much. I guess I could have went through the whole decoupage thing and made it like the cover, but I didn't want to add too much dimension to this. I think it's going to be okay. I'm still going to do some more stuff to it, so we're not done yet with it. Just going to leave that on there. I'm going to put this one on this side. And let's add some of the original color, or the hunter green. This one's going to be a bit different because of the fact that I've got some of the white on my sponge. Green won't be quite as vibrant by the time I'm done, because I've got a few ideas here. Okay. Now I gotta let that dry. And when those are dry, I'll be back to show you the next part. Okay, so the paint is dry. Now I've been using this aged brass stuff. I used it on the cover. But I also have this rose gold. And I'm going to use this on this just to make it a little bit different. And it's a really, really pretty color. So let's which way did I have this? Okay, this might be like impossible. So you know what? I'm not going to worry about how I line that up. I was going to line it all up, but you know what? This might just work. And I'm just going to rub some of this on. I have no idea how this is going to turn out. I don't want the whole area done. I kind of want to add it on just bits and pieces of it, just to give it a little more fun. Didn't really know you could use this stuff on with a stencil, actually. I hope I can use it with a stencil. Not quite what I was thinking, but that's okay. So now I have some shimmer mist. This is like a gold of some kind that's diluted with water. I have some wheat, and I have some frost. So I'm going to spray that on this. Let's do this side really quick. Kind of wish I could line those up, but I'm not sure how I would remember which way I had it. I'm going to do this one a little bit different. I'm not going to put the stencil on. And I'm just going to go along some of the bigger scales. We'll see how, which one looks better. I've been so enjoying doing this mixed media type stuff. I think the funnest part is not really knowing if it's going to turn out. Okay, let's leave it at that. Now, I want to spray some of this stuff on here. Also, I have another sheet of this paper, and I'm going to spray some shimmer mist on this because I've got an idea again for another page like this. I like the dragon scale, and I really liked how the shimmer mist looked on the dragon scales. So now this, I'm just going to, I don't care if it runs. And now I'm going to spray a bunch of this on the paper and set it over here till I get other stuff. Now I better put the lid on this. Now you could use any color of shimmer mist. I just like how the shimmer mist looks. I love spraying the shimmer mist onto my tea-dyed papers as well, especially when I'm using doilies. Okay, and I'm going to put some of this on my paper as well. So I'm just going to give it some squirts all over. Now, even though this page was only done on an inkjet printer, it doesn't seem to make it run very much, if at all. It does, however, make the ink go through to the back side. Okay, now some of this frost. Even though we've got a little bit of blue in the cover, this is not a very strong blue, but it just gives it that little blue touch. Okay. And let's just do a tiny little bit. I know you can't really see me spraying the paper, but I thought I had all the stuff out, so I might as well do this. I will show you the paper in the next time that I have it in my hand. So there is this here. Now those have to dry, and I'm going to eventually use them as a pocket in the journal. The envelope will go wrap around the page. So there is that part. So we'll be right back after these are dry. Okay, so now that we've got this done and it's all dried, we can set it aside and we can work on our other piece. Now, the first thing I did was this is going to get decoupaged the front of there, I forgot to dig out my matte gel. Let's get a book so we don't get it all over the place. And let's put down some matte gel to stick that down on. Just want enough to hold it down a bit. It's going to be a few layers on top, so if it's not stuck down 100%, we will still be okay. Let's just put that down on there. It's okay if it sticks out in weird directions and everything. And let's just brush it down so it sticks to that book page. And the book page is a bit smaller than my bag that I'm using. So now we want to put a bit more because I want to glue this napkin on the top. And I find when I'm decoupaging napkins, I don't worry about my bottom layer being solid, because once I have put the napkin on the top and decoupaged all around the top of the napkin, it sticks on there pretty darn good. So there is our napkin on there. So now we can go along and brush the whole part of the napkin. Now this does get a little wet and soggy with all these layers on it. I'm sure that you could let it dry in between and then it wouldn't get so soggy, but I like to get my projects done. You could use Mod Podge or diluted glue or something for this, I'm sure. I happen to have this matte gel, and I do like it. Okay, almost done here. I'm okay if it's wrinkled and stuff. That does not matter. Okay, so we have that done. So now we definitely need to let this dry. So I'm going to let it dry, and then I'm going to stitch around it like I did this one, because I stitched around just this part because I didn't want to lose the space in the bag. So for you it'll just be seconds. For me, I'm not sure how long it'll take. But once it's dry, I'll do my stitching and then I'll come back. See you in a second. Okay, so I've got this all dried, and I did sew with some metallic ribbon or thread, and I put on the 2 buttons, and I just put a little piece of cheesecloth behind the buttons. So our next step, I want to take this paper, and I want to glue that on the back here. Because I want to glue it on before I put the front on, just so it's smoother. So again, my art glitter glue. I'm going to put a dab of glue just right on the edge to hold that down. So of course I don't want to glue in here. I'm going to put one glue down the edge of the paper. So I'm going to do this. And then I'm going to go around the edge of the envelope. I'm just going to glue these couple of points down because I want to use it as a pocket, so I don't want glue on that spot there. So let's put this down quite close to where the flap seam is on the envelope. And we'll press that part down. Really like how that paper turned out with the shimmer mist on the top of those scales. So now I'm just going to flip this up like this. I'm just going to glue the edge of the paper to here. I'll do there. And then just put some glue to hold it all down. Because the paper was wet from the shimmer mist, it did warp a tiny bit, which is typical of paper that gets wet. So there is that. So now all that I need to do is cut that little tiny bit off right there. Okay. And let's put a tiny little bit of ink on there. So it takes care of that. Now on here, I am going to glue this to the front of my bag. So I'm just going to go around the outside. Just like so. I usually always try to run some glue over the stitching. Okay. Don't need a ton of glue on the middle part. I'm going to try and get that on as straight as I can because it's all crooked and the bag is all straight. Make sure I press the edges down. If I get a little bit of the cheesecloth underneath, I won't panic. So there is that part. And we have the bag. Now on this, the bag is going to go there. Now, okay. Now I've got, let me just turn my light on more. I thought it was on full. So I've got this little script stamp. And I've got some color box. I've got olive, pastel, and toffee. So I'm not going to put it on a block or anything. I'm just going to go around and stamp it every which way. Just to give it something around the edge. And let's put on some toffee color too. my light. I need a new light. That one keeps flickering. Okay. That should be enough. I just didn't want that bare. And it covered up where it says extra postage required. It covered that up pretty good. So now this is going to go relatively in the middle. Now I could leave the back as a pocket, but this is going to be thick enough, I think, between the two cards that are already going to go in here, and the envelope and all that stuff. So, but you could leave a top or a side tuck on this quite easy. Okay, and down this goes. Okay, then I took the mushroom and the butterfly, and they're just going to get glued down, so let's do that. The hardest part of this project was doing the decoupage part of the napkin. So let's put that fairly high. And then we got the mushroom. Hope everyone is enjoying this series. I've had so much fun making this journal. And I'm so pleased with how well it's coming out. Okay, and then I just used some cheesecloth. And the idea of the cheesecloth was, I kind of thought it looked a little bit like moss. That would be really nice to add actual moss to this. But I'm just going to put a big blob of glue on there. And on one side I'm going to do this bluish color. And I'm just kind of going to munch that up, and hopefully it sticks down. And then I'm going to put some green on this side. And that's going to hold it down, I hope. The glue kind of goes right through the cheesecloth, so it should hold it down pretty good. So there we have it. Then all that we have to do is make the cards to go in it. We'll make a card for there and a card for there. So now that's going to go on the page. Then it'll flip open. This, of course, let's find a page. Just bring this journal in for a second. So this one will go on. Let's find a... So it's going to go on like that. So you'll be flipping through. You'll come across there. And that'll be made into a tuck. So something will tuck into there. And when you flip it, you've got that and a flip. So there we have our two pockets. So I'm going to be sewing the signatures into this pretty soon. I'm not going to do that on camera because I've already got a video on how I sew in my signatures. And then I think we're going to start deciding where we're going to put all the stuff. It is going to be a hidden spine, so I have to do the part for my hidden spine. And again, I believe that's in my video already on how I do my spines. So, and then this I'm covering with this paper here will be on the inside. Just kind of like the colors of it. It kind of blended in with the cover, but yet it was totally different. So that will be on the insides there. So I'm going to be doing that. So I think in the next episode we will start putting in all these pockets, and then we can get a better idea on where we're at, because all these pockets are just getting glued in. So we have quite a few already, and I don't want to get it too full. So we will see you in another part very soon. Bye.